That one we'll call Baby Lemonade. I thought of the fact that David Gilmour owes most of his progression and guitar playing to Syd Barrett, and then Syd Barrett, it's the first track on his second record, and because it sounds more like David Gilmour, but he wouldn't have even gone to those places had he not been taken, had he not been, had his mind opened by Syd. So Baby Lemonade, yeah.
That's a cool name. I love that.
Basic freedom. I don't know. It's something to just things like Shape of the Paper. And,
Are you a big Pink Floyd guy?
Oh my God, that's what helped me make the transition. Where we talked about earlier, like I went salsa to punk rock, and then I was like stuck there for a second. Like 12, 13, 14. That's all I wanted to hear was punk rock. And then our friend Julio, that we wrote the first Mars Volta record about. He I was in his apartment. He had no furniture, and there's just bones that he collected from the desert, and we have a candle in there, and I'm talking shit about whatever, Pink Floyd, I guess, and he puts on Piper at the Gates of Dawn, the first one, with Syd Barrett, and he puts that on, and that, again, how I say, like, that punk gave me the feeling that salsa did, so that Pink Floyd record gave me the feeling that punk did. I'm like, this is this is punk rock, this is purely from the heart, from the gut, like, what is this? And it just blew my mind and changed my life. And so then I started listening to Pink Floyd, and that was the big gateway to all the other, English-speaking singing music.
It's so
out there.
good, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it
really is. It's like, and they cover so much territory, on that one record, and obviously influence, even the Beatles and everyone around them. These young art students that just like, and they weren't even musicians. They were just art students. They were architecture students, and they were like, "Hey, you play drums. I don't want to play drums. You play drums. Like, are you gonna play bass? Like whatever." Yeah. And Syd Barrett's over in England listening to Dick Dale, and going like, "Oh, I want to play like, what is this sound?
Surf music.
Exactly.
Just whack it and then put it all together, and you're like, what the fuck?"
And then this whole other thing comes out, and then. There's a great example of a band that overcome, like, they lose their founding member who named the group, who wrote all the songs. They struggle for a while and I still love those records in between. And then metal is exactly correct. It's like where they find their sound.
It's insane.
They find, and you just see it all happen. You see them trying to sound like their old selves, with the other records that's escaping my mind right now, but you see Obscured by Clouds, and all these other records in between, and they're like searching, and then they get to metal, and that's the Floyd we know, from then on out, like Dark Side of the Moon and everything out, and they find their dynamic, and they're not trying to do what they were doing, and they're looking forward, and it's so interesting, and like, people will judge left and right, but again, nobody can live that life except for them.
Fucking guys looked great too. Were you an acid guy?
Oh yeah, I took way too much acid.
Really?
Yeah.
Pink Floyd, and I think everyone should be calling them the Pink Floyd because of the original member Syd Barrett. And if anybody out there is curious who Syd Barrett is, go buy one of his solo albums. And he is the founding member of that band, and I think he's the reason why punk rock is what it is today.
Is it on? The light, I mean. Got it hit down, spot knock inside a spider.